In the calm of a cold November night in 1974, a horror story was born in the heart of Amityville, New York. A story that, even after half a century, continues to send shivers down the spine of those who dare to recount it. 112 Ocean Avenue, an ordinary house in an ordinary neighborhood, became the stage for a chilling tragedy that forever marked it as anything but ordinary. On that fateful night, the DeFeo family, who once filled the house with life and laughter, met a gruesome end. Ronald DeFeo Jr., a 23-year-old man, carried out a cold-blooded massacre. One by one, he methodically executed his family as they lay asleep in their beds, oblivious to the horror that awaited them. His victims were his parents, Ronald DeFeo Sr., a man of 43 years, and Louise DeFeo, a year younger than her husband. His siblings, 18-year-old Dawn, 13-year-old Allison, 12-year-old Mark, and the youngest, John Matthew, only 9, were also among the victims. Each family member was found lying face down, shot with a .35 caliber lever-action Marlin 336C rifle, a chilling testament to the calculated nature of the killings. The news of the DeFeo family's murder sent shockwaves through the community. The peaceful suburban neighborhood was suddenly cast into the national spotlight. The tranquility it once enjoyed replaced with a pall of fear and sorrow. The house at 112 Ocean Avenue stood silent and empty, its walls bearing silent witness to the horrific events that unfolded within them. In the aftermath of this chilling tragedy, 112 Ocean Avenue was forever marked by the gruesome fate of the DeFeo family. But as we will soon discover, the tale of this Amityville house was far from over. The echoes of the DeFeo family's untimely end were just the beginning of a series of enigmatic and chilling tales of horror and mystery that would captivate and terrify audiences worldwide. In the wake of the DeFeo tragedy, a new family dared to make 112 Ocean Avenue their home. Enter the Lutz family, George, Kathy, and their 3 children. With hopes of a fresh start in the picturesque town of Amityville, they moved in, unaware of the house's blood-stained past. Almost as soon as they settled, the family began to experience a series of inexplicable phenomena. Imagine stepping into a room only to be greeted by an icy cold spot, or waking up to the foul stench of an unseen source. The house seemed to have its own peculiar scent, a bizarre mix of perfume and excrement, as if trying to mask its own unsavory history. Adding to the eeriness was an unusual infestation of flies. Despite it being the heart of winter, the house was swarmed with these insects, making each room feel more like a scene from a horror movie than a family home. George Lutz, the head of the family, was particularly affected. Every morning, like clockwork, he'd find himself wide awake at 3:15 a.m., the estimated time of the DeFeo murders. As if drawn by an unseen force, he developed an obsessive interest in the house's fireplace, feeling an unshakable chill that no amount of warmth could dispel. Kathy, his wife, wasn't spared from the house's eerie antics either. She experienced horrifying visions, one of which was a pig-like creature with glowing red eyes. This demonic figure seemed to have a particular interest in their young daughter, Melissa, who innocently referred to it as her friend, Jody. Clearly, 112 Ocean Avenue was not your typical family home. It was a place where the line between reality and the supernatural blurred, where the living shared space with the unseen. Yet, these strange occurrences were only the beginning of the Lutz family's ordeal. As days turned into weeks, the Lutz family found themselves in the grip of an escalating supernatural terror. George Lutz, the family patriarch, fell under a strange obsession with the house's fireplace. He would find himself drawn to it, feeling an inexplicable, unshakable chill that seemed to emanate from its very hearth. His nights became a cycle of restless sleep and sudden awakenings, always at the eerily precise time of 3:15 in the morning, around the same time the DeFeo murders were believed to have taken place. Meanwhile, Kathy Lutz was plagued by a series of terrifying visions. One of the most chilling was that of a demonic, pig-like creature with glowing red eyes. This creature seemed to keep a watchful eye on the family, but it took a particular interest in the Lutz's young daughter, Melissa. The little girl, oblivious to the malevolent nature of the entity, referred to it as her friend, Jody. The haunting didn't stop at unsettling visions and obsessions. The family reported doors slamming shut on their own, a crucifix inexplicably turning upside down, and a green slime that would ooze from the walls. The terror was palpable, an unseen force that seemed to permeate the very air of the house. As the supernatural occurrences escalated, so did the family's fear. They were living in a nightmare, their home transformed into a stage for the inexplicable and the terrifying. But the Lutz family was not ready to surrender their home to the unseen force. They sought help, hoping to reclaim their sanctuary from the grip of the very terror that haunted them. Despite their escalating fear, the Lutz family sought help, hoping to reclaim their home from the unseen force that haunted them. In their desperation, the Lutz family turned to a higher power, hoping to cleanse their home of its dark presence. A priest, a beacon of faith, was summoned to the house, his mission to bless the tainted rooms and drive away the evil that seemed to permeate every corner. The priest, stepping into the house, was immediately met with an oppressive atmosphere, a sensation of being watched by unseen eyes. As he moved from room to room, sprinkling holy water and uttering prayers of protection, he was startled by a sudden disembodied voice, a voice as cold as the grave, commanding him to get out. He fled the house, shaken to his core, but the ordeal didn't end there. In the days following his visit, the priest was plagued by a severe illness, his hands blistering as though touched by an unseen inferno. His health deteriorated rapidly, a chilling testament to the power he had encountered within the house. Meanwhile, the Lutz family found themselves in an escalating nightmare. The hauntings grew in intensity, the house seeming to grow more malevolent with each passing day. The green slime, the slamming doors, the inverted crucifix, these were no longer mere phenomena, but tangible proof of an unseen terror. For 28 days, the family endured this reign of terror, their lives a constant battle against the inexplicable. Their home, once a symbol of their dreams, had morphed into a living nightmare, a house alive with a malevolent presence that sought to drive them to the brink of insanity. The decision to leave was inevitable. The family couldn't bear the strain on their sanity, the constant fear for their safety. They had to escape, to free themselves from the clutches of the house that refused to let them live in peace. Leaving behind their possessions, the Lutz family fled from 112 Ocean Avenue, too terrified to return even in daylight. The house they had once called home had become a symbol of an unfathomable horror, a tale of terror that would echo through the annals of paranormal lore. The tale of the Lutz family's haunting ordeal was immortalized in J. Anson's 1977 book, The Amityville Horror, sparking a debate that continues to this day. Anson's riveting narrative catapulted the story from the confines of 112 Ocean Avenue to the forefront of American pop culture, weaving a chilling tale of horror and mystery that captured the imagination of readers worldwide. The book's success led to a series of film adaptations, each iteration further embedding the story into the realm of paranormal lore. These cinematic renditions, with their eerie soundtracks and spine-chilling visuals, brought the Lutz family's experiences to life in a way that was both enthralling and terrifying. Yet, with every retelling, the line between fact and fiction seemed to blur a little more. The controversy surrounding the Amityville Horror rests largely on the veracity of the Lutz family's claims. Skeptics argue that the haunting was a fabrication, a sensationalized story concocted for fame and profit. They point to inconsistencies in the family's accounts and the lack of corroborating evidence as indications of a well-orchestrated hoax. Believers, on the other hand, stand firm in their conviction that the Lutz family indeed fell victim to supernatural phenomena. They cite the family's visible terror and their decision to abandon their newly purchased home, leaving behind all their possessions as proof of their genuine fear. Despite the ongoing debate, no conclusive evidence has ever been presented to fully explain the events that transpired at 112 Ocean Avenue. The house remains a symbol of one of the most enigmatic and chilling tales of horror and mystery, its story still as captivating and terrifying as it was over 4 decades ago. Whether fact or fiction, the chilling tale of the Amityville Horror continues to captivate and terrify audiences worldwide, leaving us to wonder about the true nature of the events at 112 Ocean Avenue.